excellence in sports entertainment.
Right. I got two left hooves. Who on test? Well, since nobody's stepping to me, take me to your cult leader. Take me to your local drug dealer. Take me to the man in the mirror when you stand and deliver with your hand on the trigger. An emotional terrorist. I-double-M-U-N-E. Never make my enemy public. I'm a private dancer, dancing for money. Do that thing that's funny. I'll make you wanna laugh. I'll make you wanna move. I'll make you wanna do. Do that thing that's funny. I'll make you wanna laugh. I'll make you wanna.
Oh, God, I looped it, and I didn't even realize it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Spot Monkey Radio. We are your hosts, Tony, Malik, and Greco, coming at you with a busy week in pro wrestling, coming off the heels of the Royal Rumble, and the official road to WrestleMania starts today with Monday Night Raw coming up the pike. Boys, I'm sure you watched the Royal Rumble. We'll start with the two regular matches first before we jump into the Rumble matches themselves. And we'll start with the 2 out of 3 falls tag team match between the Motor City Machine Guns and
Do It Yourselves.
I didn't really watch much of this match. I'm not going to lie to you because, I mean, not to say that I didn't care at all about what was going on with the two teams. But I don't really care about, like, it's DIY. And the Machine Guns, to me, signing WWE was like 10 years too late. But I'm glad they're there. But what did you guys think of the tag team match? We'll start with you, Malik.
I felt it was a pretty solid match. It was a good match from bell to bell. I was not expecting the Street Profits to get involved, so that was the bit of a shocker for me.
Now, they said they went heel, but they attacked both teams, I noticed, right? So he attacked DIY first, and then they attacked the other guys first. I'm sorry, Machine Guns first, then DIY. Now, Greco, you seem to know well about the Guns because you've been watching, like you said before, ROH and all that shit from the beginning. So you've been following these guys for years. What did you think of the match?
The match was good. It's a tough spot to be in. It's after a Rumble. Like it's the crowd's kind of coming down. Everyone's running to the bathroom at that point. So for what it was, it was 2 out of 3 falls. And by the third fall, the crowd started getting into it, which was smart because if you notice how the match went, like you didn't get a lot of like the big moves until after the second fall.
Yeah, those were they were saving.
The stuff with the Profits, I do get because somebody took them out a couple months back, and now they're coming for their payback. But they want their payback on DIY, but they're costing the Guns the match. So I kind of don't get it.
Yeah, I will say this about Montez Ford: that guy was shredded. He was best shape I've ever seen him in, and it's hard to say that because he's always in great shape. But I don't get it. I said to Felix yesterday, we were watching it, and I'm like, this wouldn't surprise me now if Bianca Belair was the lady who attacked, and then she joins them as like a bad guy group. That wouldn't now shock me. Not say that's going to happen. It wouldn't shock me if that's what it was, because now those two guys as a heel, were they ever heel? The Street Profits?
No,
they were always.
By the way, not to pat myself on the back and Barry Horowitz myself, but I did say that this should have been a pay-per-view match. It was on episode 1 of this redone. I also stated that DIY would retain. So
it's almost like
Negro Damas over here, not to steal the names out of the Chappelle Show, but here I am.
So now, listen, I will say this about WWE. And I listen, I don't want to be this guy that's like a shill for them, but they seem to have righted the tag team stuff too. Like he didn't just write like the storylines with singles wrestlers too. He's seems to be righting the ship with fucking tag teams as well. And they have pretty good tag teams in WWE right now. Like a lot of them are very talented teams, and it's good to see because like tag team wrestling, we've always said this is always been a lost art. Like nobody really kind of highlights that shit no more. And to see it on a pay-per-view match, 2 out of 3 falls. You get another team involved now. So it looks like it's spicing up. And you said something interesting, Malik. I don't know if you said it on a message, but an Elimination Chamber tag team match would be pretty cool. I'd be.
They've only done 2 to my knowledge, one in 2015 and one in 2020. So the right opportunity to do one for SmackDown right now would be the best time with all those teams. I mean, they probably need. I mean, I don't know why they moved A-Town down under to Raw, but whatever. I'm pretty sure they'll find at least 2 more teams to add to the mix if they do something.
Yeah.
Didn't they also move Umberto and what's his name? The
Angel?
Angel. Didn't they move them to Raw too?
I don't even know, to tell you the truth.
I know I saw them on the graphic for Raw, so I don't know if that went through. Like, I don't know with this whole portal thing what they did, because they didn't really announce anything. So I guess we're not getting a draft. I guess
the portal is closed now that Royal Rumble weekend's over with, as far as I understand.
I'm assuming it's like somebody will show up today and be like, "He was the last transfer portal." So
makes sense, and I'm sure we'll get into this later with Drew, but I'm sure Drew, the whole Preach Drew thing is what's leading to now Drew going to SmackDown, because now you need somebody new for Cody.
And Alberto. My lovely wife is looking up to see if they actually went to Raw, by the way.
Oh, very, very.
Yeah. So listen, tag team match was good. Like from what I saw of it, you always know that those guys are going to do what they do, because the Machine Guns have been in the tag team now for over a decade, essentially. And I do DIY. I don't know. I just don't see it with them. I like Ciampa. I think he's pretty good. I think he's got something that you can use. I like when he did that shit in NXT where he hugged the belt and he was crazy. Yeah. I like that kind of stuff. Gargano, I don't know. He doesn't do it for me, man.
Gargano is a heel, just doesn't work.
Yeah. Gargano is trying so hard to be his idol, Shawn Michaels. It's just not going to ever happen. It won't work. You could even see by the little bopping around. I know, because I stole it. Like, come on, bro. We see you. Don't play dumb.
Yeah, dude. This, like, I say this, and this is going to become like a staple on this show, is Shawn Michaels just plays his greatest hits. Shawn and Triple H, they just, like, even like transitioning perfect segue into the ladder match with the 2 belts. When they hung the 2 belts up, I immediately was like, Shawn Michaels was like, well, WrestleMania 10, we hung up 2 belts over the ring. Right? Just like, they're playing the fucking great. Now, the ladder match itself was something, man. It was fucking crazy. Some of those spots, I mean, especially the last one, that final.
The Alabama Slammer.
Wow, I was like, God damn it. And to see Kevin Owens' face afterwards all cut up.
The Fisherman Buster, where he just popped up to his feet. Yeah. I said, nah, man, I'm not taking that.
Yeah. And even the spot where Owens has taken it before in a lot of matches where Cody back drops him onto the edge of the ladder. It's like the precision, because that can go very wrong very quickly.
Dude, you can fuck yourself up. Good. What's up? They are on Raw. You are right. Okay. They have transition over to Raw. Thank you, baby. Dude, there was a couple of things in there where I'm like, yo, like I said it to Felix yesterday, because we were actually watching the replay, and I said, say what you want about Cody Rhodes if you don't like baby faces or whatever, but this run that he's going on right now there's been fantastic match after fantastic match after fantastic match. He's now found everybody he's feuded with the championship, and including Roman Reigns. Don't take away what he did at WrestleMania, but like I feel like that this title reign has lived up to the hype. He's done pretty good. Like, nobody's disappointed with it. It's like, this run kind of sucks. Sometimes wrestlers get the title, and the reign doesn't really live up to like the build up to it.
Look at the guy over on Raw.
So here's something I want to talk about and discuss. People were wondering if he would lose the Solo at one point. Obviously, that didn't happen. Yeah. We felt I felt as surprised if he lost it to Kevin. It would be a great surprise, But after Reigns holding down the championship for nearly 4 years, this is the proper reign that Cody should have.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Here's what I didn't like, and I guess people will be like, "Well, that's once again, everything I'm saying here is subjective." Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens ended the tag team title streak of the Usos. And then they were champions. It was kind of short-lived. They had solid matches. I was just like, why didn't we get the same thing on the other end? Those are just questions I guess we'll never have answered.
Yeah.
But these are the right moves that they're doing with Cody overall, bar none.
I truly believe that, man.
So the one thing I'll say that I kind of wanted to happen, and like I know we all are at this point, we're all fixed on at some point Cody's going heel.
Yeah.
What I think could have been done is Owens could have won the other night. And the next pay-per-view is in Toronto. Owens is from Canada, so he's obviously going to be going over as the mega face going into that. You do the rematch. Cody now is naturally the heel, the American Nightmare in Canada against Canada's Son. Cody gets the belt back. Now what that does is now the crowd is booing Cody, and then on top of that, now Cody's now starting to get desperate. Cody needs the title. Before he just wanted to finish the story. Now he needs to continue the story.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see like the title has now weighed so much on him that he feels like he needs the belt. Like it's like one of those things where it's like fixated on it, like it made him. The story is so important or whatever. I do. First off, let's just take a second to tip the cap to Kevin Owens' shirt game during this feud.
Amazing.
When I saw that Canadian Dream, the son of a security systems technician.
Yes. And what's great, if you noticed the other day, I mean, they were kind of like sweats, but they look kind of like gearish. He actually had like gear on the other day. He didn't just have shorts on.
I noticed. I said that yesterday. I said, "Are those tights?" Or it was like, because it's like they don't look like basketball shorts anymore.
No, they weren't like Mick Foley sweats. They looked like they were like a type of material.
They look like you know who used to wear shit like that? Road Dogg.
Yes. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
it's kind of like that, or like Penta, what he wears right now, because Penta has kind of like baggy pants. They're not like tights. But yeah, dude, that match, like I said, Cody to me has solidified himself as top guy.
Oh, 100%.
In some of these matches, and to see, like, I don't know about you, but like I like some of the sport aspect that they added to wrestling now, where they add like certain stats. So, like for instance, the graphic for the Royal Rumble, where it was telling you the number and how many people had been eliminated, who's left. That's awesome. Then there's certain things where you're like, I don't want to watch it. But yesterday, when they were showing him just sit there, like they were like the people, the medical people giving him like help, and Cody was on the table above him, and you just saw like, I don't know if it was that particular spot that fucked his head up, where he had like the cut over his eye and he was bleeding bad, but I was like, that to me is that's a shot that you'll see forever.
Right.
One of those where it's like immortalized shots with Cody standing over him and he's just like this all beat up. Like I was like, that is a perfect picture for a blow off. Like, so Cody, if let's say Kevin Owens is away from the title for a while, and he probably will be after that match because he took a fucking beating. To see that image, that'll be the image like for a very long time. And Malik said this last week, that the fact that Kevin Owens is involved in Royal Rumble top matches, like I said, I don't mind being wrong, because I was never a big Kevin Owens guy, and still to this day I'm really not, because I still think every move he does is a finish. But he has solidified himself as a guy in WWE. He's a WWE guy now to me.
Yeah.
Like now when I think WWE, I'll think Kevin Owens, and not where back in the day I'm like, there's no way. Remember I used to say that?
Yeah, no, 100. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm happy
with
to
you
say
about
that
it all the time. Yeah,
yeah, I'm happy to say that I was wrong about it, because, you know, he's talented, man, and the matches are very good and they're meaningful, and it was a great story told. And I always say this: as long as you learn that WWE style, you will be a solidified star for years to come. And these guys, I said it years ago when we were training, that I didn't think any of these guys would be the stars they are today, and I'm happy to say that I'm 100% wrong with a lot of them.
And
like
what I liked was, you kind of thought Cody would get color because you know the blonde hair, it always looks good on him and everything. So Owens starts bleeding before the Alabama Slam. He's already got a cut, and that's what Cody's punching. He's like going after it. And, you know, I'm sure they talked about it before. It's not Cody taking liberties. You know, maybe he said like, hey, you know, you're gonna bust me open. We're gonna do this the right way.
Yeah, I mean, because you know what it is. It was such an impactful feud with each other. Like, it was very personal. They were attacking each other in parking lots, and Cody runs and attacks him on Raw and shit like that. So to me, you have to get a little stiff,
right,
to really solidify that feud. Like, he had to do stuff like it was like, remember when Piper fought Goldust?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
They were tagging each other through, because there was a lot of shit in that. Even though it's a work, it's still, they're trying to show people like, no, we hate each other. Like, I also noticed it in the Rumble with Seth and Punk.
Yes.
And they get eliminated.
They go right after each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I know we'll get into.
Yeah, we'll get that in a second.
And I like when you said about the shot of Cody standing above him, and if you notice, Cody right before that's looking at him, going, "That's it, we're done.
We're done." That's what I'm saying, dude. It's impressive. Oh, look at this. We just got our first super chat, boys. Excuse me, sir, trying to reach you about cars extended warranty. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, Jeff. Appreciate you coming in and giving the super chat, bud. Thank you, man. He had a stream on, and I won a DVD giveaway.
He broke. So same time, just that he broke it on Goldust's head. I think he actually broke it when he got hit with the car.
Yeah, no, it was when he got hit with the car. The fist, like I know exactly which punch you're talking about. That one where he just kind of steps back and hauls off and punches Goldust in the face. Remember that?
The fact that they just allowed the announcer to just lay out to listen to everything, that's still one of those matches that I go back to watch, and I'm just like, you didn't have to do them that way, but we get it.
Yeah. Which is something that I think has gotten very good with now with the announcers, that they know, even with like a guy like McAfee who like loves to get hyped up and go off the crowd, it's very easy to just get involved, and these guys have learned to just let the crowd do their thing.
Yeah. No, I'm digging it, dude. Like, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is another one where I'll definitely eat crow on. I hated Michael Cole for the longest time, but he finally, like, I'm finally have embraced him. I'm like, all right, this guy, he's not bad.
I mean, listen, I'm sure if we go back and listen, he wasn't bad with Taz or even with Lawler.
Yeah.
Something about Pat McAfee changed Cole.
Well, Cole says it himself. He like reinstilled his love for it. He's having fun now. You can see it. Like there were times where and maybe that's what it was. Maybe Michael Cole just wasn't having fun because Vince is a tyrant,
right?
And now Triple H is in charge. Because at the end of that Rumble, when he's like he goddamn deserved it and shit like that. So this stuff that he was saying, I was just like, okay. I was like, they're letting him kind of like put his it's not Vince feeding lines. Like no, call that shit. You're a professional. You can do it. And that's one thing. Like, dude, Triple H is WWE. I keep telling everybody, like, there's a couple guys in this chat that I've been friends with now, and they say, like, oh, you're starting to get me into wrestling. And I keep telling them, if you watch WWE, you won't be disappointed now. Like, it's pretty good now. Like, the stories and shit that they're writing, you can pick up on it and kind of just pick up right there. You don't have to, like, watch back unless you want to. But it's that good. And, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to be WWE shill guy, but that Royal Rumble was first Royal Rumble in a while, dude, that I was just like, I'm excited for this. I want to watch this. I want to see and then to watch it. And I had said Jey Uso's going to win the Rumble for weeks now, because as soon as I saw how over he was, I was like, this is no fucking brainer. You don't let this guy win the Rumble. And then when I saw Saturday Night's main event against Gunther and how good that match was and how close he came to winning, it was very obvious that he's the guy they're anointing to be the next guy.
So now I got a question for the both of you. Let's now want to do the comparison. Greco, I think, stated that maybe it was almost too late for Joe Hendry to be given the title. Is this the right time for Jey Uso or not?
I think so. I mean, you've yanked the carrot in front of him multiple times now. Whether it was when he was feuding with his cousin, or he came close against Gunther. Now, like, there's so many times now where I'm just like, you got to essentially give it to this guy just to see. And I said it to Felix yesterday when I said, if they don't give the belt to him now, he won that Royal Rumble. Dude, I had the TV on mute. On Saturday, I watched whatever was left of the Royal Rumble because I had to go to the airport. So when I came home, the Rumble was already on, the match itself. So I kind of came right in at the end, but I had it on mute. And I see Jey Uso come out, and they show that one pan shot as he was running to the ring, and that entire 70,000 people are all doing this thing. And I was just like, yo, if that's not an indication that the time is now, you can't do what you did to Cody.
Right.
He lost, and then he had a whole year to build it back up. This is the fucking time. You better put that belt on him and see if he can. And I think he can, because he delivers in the ring, and now all these promos that he's doing, he found his niche, and it's over, man. And it's not even a word. It's a sound.
Right.
Yeet.
Right.
It's not even a fucking word at this point.
And what's funny enough, I was at Rumble last year, and I remember telling Pun, we called it that Jimmy and Jay were going to be 1 and 2 because they wanted to see the crowd reaction of him coming out, and that was the first big stadium show he did where he already started doing the hand thing.
Yeah.
And sure enough, and then you saw it at Mania, You saw it at SummerSlam. Like it's getting more and more. Yeah. I think if he was to take the belt off of Cody, I don't think I don't think it would get the same reaction. I think him taking it off of Gunther is the smarter move because Gunther hasn't had the great title reign, and Gunther beat him when he was going for the IC belt. Gunther just beat him on Saturday Night Main Event. So Gunther's been like his nemesis now.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're building quite the rivalry between the two, for one. And two, like, Jey Uso's going to be the guy on Raw.
Yes.
I think that he's going to take that belt, and he's the star on Raw. Like I said this a couple weeks ago with Malik, and Malik, he made a great point. I was like, oh, Cody should go to Raw. And he said, no, Cody needs to stay on SmackDown because they need the star power on SmackDown. And I tend to agree with him. And I said this watching the Rumble. I was like, the WWE title doesn't need the Royal Rumble winner to sweeten the pot.
Right.
The world title does. The world title needs that because now you put the focal point on Gunther, whereas Cody already has attention. So whoever you put against Cody at WrestleMania, it ain't going to fucking matter. They're going to get that over. It's going to be good. Gunther needs that kind of rub. He needs that kind of attention. He needs the Royal Rumble winner to choose him and go to WrestleMania. Now, it's going to be a fantastic match. If they botch that and keep the belt on Gunther, that'd be one of the biggest blunders I think that Triple H would make. I don't think he's that dumb. I don't think he's that dumb. So
agreed. And what I will say what this kind of does, even though he's main event so, and even though at WrestleMania now we have 6 main events, even though it is technically only one each night. Yeah. That's the one thing that drives me crazy. I hate this multi-main event thing. There's one main event each night. That's it.
One thing I like about WrestleMania is it should feel like every match is a main event.
It's important, yes.
WrestleMania.
So what you could do now, because you did it last year with Seth and Drew, that match doesn't have to close out the show.
No.
That match could open night 1 or night 2, and you could still do whatever you want with your other megastars and still get the same reaction. And the crowd is going to be hot to start off. So if you have that, if you have 70,000 people doing the Yeet Dance, him winning the title, like that's how you start WrestleMania. That place would go nuts.
I agree. That being said, let's get to the Royal Rumble.
Wait. I'm sorry. You said they should start off Mania with that match?
No. I'm saying you have the option. You can, because they did it last year with Seth and Drew.
Here's my thing: if he's not the main event, I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of calling a main event, even though they'll still recognize it as one.
Yeah. I see what
you know, that's just me. Yeah. It's something small.
Yeah, let's get to the Rumble matches. We'll obviously talk about the women's match real quick. That one was obvious. I mean, really, did you not assume Charlotte Flair was going to win? It was obvious.
So, first of all, her and Cody started a tag team or something because the matching gear. What's that about?
Well, let me tell you, all right, and we're all very secure men in this chat. Cody looked much better in his gear than Charlotte did. Okay.
I didn't like the short jacket. I'm a long jacket guy for Cody. I like that long jacket.
I was okay with the short jacket only because it was just like a one-time different thing that you're seeing out of him.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, when he came out with that little jacket, I'm like, that. It's crazy how when you get used to seeing somebody come out with like a fancy ring gear or some shit like that, and they
remember Bret Hart had a longer leather jacket at one point?
Yeah, and you're like, no, take that off, Brett. Put on the regular motorcycle jacket. Yeah, what are you doing right now?
You know when Brett changed his gear, like it was like, wait, what are we doing here?
Dude, Survivor Series '93 when he had the singlet on with his family,
the hot pink one.
Yeah, it threw me off.
Yes,
where I was like, what the fuck is he wearing right now? I could not get around it. Yeah, it was rough, dude. That was rough, man. But look, I didn't watch the Women's Rumble at all. As you know, I couldn't care less. But you obviously watched it. What did you think of it?
All right, I'm going to give you a couple things. I think it was done very smartly because with Charlotte winning it and them knowing Charlotte was going to win it, you couldn't have any of the really like Roxanne Perez got made that night. Roxanne Perez is now someone that people are like, okay, who is she? Like, she's not just no longer the NXT girl. But if you look at toward the end of the Rumble, there's no big names in it.
Oh, okay.
So, and this is where I looked at both Rumbles, the men's and women's. Actually, I have the sheets right here because we're degenerate gamblers. And if you look at the first 15 of the women, it's all the names.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's Io, Liv, Roxanne, Chelsea, Bianca, Shane, Bailey, Naomi, they're all in the first half of the Rumble.
Oh, wow.
And then if you look at the second half, the only big ones you had Trish coming back, which was a nice little surprise.
But you know what? The one thing I will say is, and I said this to Felix, the men don't need the nostalgia act no more.
No, they don't.
These guys are bona fide stars. They don't need it no more.
I'll tell you this. I know everyone wanted a couple names, like Becky not being there. Becky doesn't need the Rumble. Same. The only person I'm a little surprised about was what's her name? Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I thought they were going to start that whole thing. Well, you put me through this car. I'm back now, bitches. But
yeah,
they didn't do it.
Unless they don't want to have it run till Mania and they're just going to do it a little later.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be that they got a glimpse of Jade and they were like, she's not that good. We gotta go back to the drawing board.
Give her a little more time. Yeah.
So let's just injure her, and let her kind of train. And then when she comes back, we can kind of repackage this and make it what it's supposed to be. I think they bought into the hype when she came over from AEW, because the AEW crowd for some reason had a hard on for her. And I think they just kind of saw it right then and they're like, oh, she's very unpopular.
Yeah,
she needs work. So I expected that, though. I'm with you. I expected the Royal Rumble return and to point out who did it and then eliminate them like that. But we didn't get that. I'm shocked.
I thought Jordan Grace got a good pop. Everyone knew she was coming. Like, it wasn't like a secret anymore. She looked good.
It was funny when she put on Twitter, she said, I'm going to see my grandma.
Yeah, it's my mom's 50th birthday. Yeah,
it's so bad you can't even keep the secret. Like I think Michael Cole said some shit. What's her?
Alexa Bliss.
Like, she returned, and because I didn't watch it, like I said, and I asked Felix, how was the pop? And he said it was big.
It was a pop.
Big.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, well, if I'm some of those women, I'd be very nervous, because now that means that my spot is in jeopardy.
Yes.
That kind of reaction, that means they're putting her right into the top spot, and it doesn't matter who had the spot before you. Now they're going to put the one who's got the most reaction. So I didn't think they need Trish Stratus. I still don't. I'm not. Alexa Bliss, I don't think they need either one of them.
Right.
Alexa Bliss, I didn't think they needed her when I was reading about the contract dispute.
Which is all now probably
all bullshit. It was all bullshit just to kind of throw the wolf so you can get her in the Rumble. Yeah. But that's the kind of smarts that I got to give Triple H. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw this shit in the press conference when he's like, all you people that think you know, I guarantee you don't know.
You don't know.
Like I know everything because I'm the guy in charge, and we're just kind of feeding you lines of bullshit so that you don't run with it in the news cycle. But we know the truth. You don't. Stop.
There's two things that happened in this Rumble that I really paid attention to. One I thought was hilarious. I know you say you didn't see it. At one point, it's Bianca, Lash Legend, Naomi, and it might have been Jade Parker, right? And they're having this moment that it's four black females in the ring together during the Royal Rumble. They're just giving each other this look, which it's a nice moment. And Chelsea Green walks into the middle of the four of them like she's one of them. And it's hilarious. And like everybody got what was about to happen to Chelsea Green. And just the thought of it, like the comedic timing of it was perfect.
Yeah.
The other thing was Liv Morgan did something that like you would have picked up on. Malik definitely would have picked up on if you pay attention. Laya Valkyrie came in the ring and her top came off. Like not off where like the 14-year-olds calm down, like nothing, you weren't able to see nothing. But she was struggling to like try to put it back on. And Liv Morgan just came out of the corner and absolutely clobbers her so that she would fall into another corner and the referee can help her fix it.
Yeah. That's like helping people out, man.
Yeah, and nobody, you can tell like when it happened, like nobody tells Liv to do this. Like nobody says like, oh, go do this so she can. No, she's gotten to a point now that she understands what's going on in the ring. Boobs, exactly.
Dude, like, but like I said, me and my wife are driving to the airport, and she's like telling me the numbers of the women's Rumble, and I said to her, I was like, did Charlotte Flair come out yet? And she goes, no. And I go, all right, well, if she comes out at 27, she's gonna win. And my wife goes, why? I go, that's just the number. I don't know why. That's the number that always wins. So like 20 minutes goes by, I go, who won the Rumble? She goes, Charlotte Flair. I go, what number she come out? She goes, holy shit. She goes, 27. I was like, yeah.
So for Charlotte, here's my issue. She looked very nervous.
Wow,
like
really?
She didn't have that normal, like, I don't know, like she just didn't look right in the ring. I don't know if she's still like, moving around cautiously because of the knee, but to me, she just didn't look good.
No. Oh, wow. Well, you know what it is? After I mean, how many injuries is this now for her?
There's a couple. It's like a 4th or 5th big injury.
Well, when they start to pile up, you become like a shell because the injuries just they start to override your talent. Like once they become like prevalent. Like that was the one thing that worried me about Seth Rollins. I was like, he keeps getting hurt. Eventually, it's going to impede his ability to do certain moves. Right. It's probably going to happen with Charlotte. Like I don't think you'll see Charlotte go to the top rope and do that.
The twisting moonsault
I don't
thing.
think you'll see much of that no more because she's not going to want to hurt herself again. Because now you're getting older. The recovery time isn't what it used to be. As you said, she took a very long time to come back.
Yeah, she got hurt last January.
That's what I'm saying. So it's, and if she keeps getting hurt, it's eventually she's gonna be like, fuck this. And that's the thing, dude. Triple H has it to a point now where, like I said, you don't need these people.
Right.
You don't need to sign these names because you're creating so much now through the NXT system where, like I said, and now let's perfect transition into the men's Royal Rumble. They didn't have a single nostalgia act. They didn't have a single. It was all packed with the fucking guys that you. Every guy, for the most part, had a meaningful story leading into the Rumble and made you interested in watching the Rumble. And I said this a couple days ago on a stream to Same Time Toys. I said the Rumble is the greatest pay-per-view to watch as a layman, as like a guy coming in, because it's so unpredictable and it's fun. Like there's so many people coming in, like, oh shit, this is cool. Sometimes you'll get the nostalgia act, but for the most part, and you can tell from the Rumble who's over. Right. Like either who wins, but even like we just said, Jey Uso comes out, that crowd, you see them do this. You see all that through the Rumble in like I said, in that 1 hour increment match where you're just like, oh, this guy's cool. This guy's cool. It's just like a smorgasbord of wrestlers if you're coming into wrestling for the first time. Now, Penta and Ray opening it, I don't know, maybe you agree. That was literally a temperature gauge to see how people were going to react to this. Like, let's see if they like Penta versus Ray. Let's see where this goes. And they seem to be. The one thing I'm impressed with is they're very receptive to Penta. The WWE crowd has accepted him. And so that being said, what did you think of the men's Royal Rumble?
So I think it was the polar opposite of the women's and how it was done. Because where the women, all the big names came out early.
Yeah.
Where the men, you had a couple. You had Jacob Fatu, and honestly, other than that, there was not really. And Braun probably, which Braun hit an ISO speed with that spear. Good Lord.
Yo.
Braun showed him speed.
Buddy, not only that, but when Braun Breaker hit Roman with the spear, I was like, yo, Braun Breaker, they're gonna put that belt on him sooner than later.
I think so. I think so.
I firmly, he's very.
That's because that's no bread, no water, just me. That's what that is.
The big pop you had in the first half was Joe Hendry, which the place went nuts for.
Dude, I had it on mute. Like I said, I had it on mute, so I didn't know who was coming out. But all of a sudden, I saw him walk out, and I popped.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to hear the song. I was like, "Oh shit, fucking Hendry's here! This is awesome." And then I'll give WWE credit because a lot of guys there that had established names they gave him, like you said, Malik, they gave him a nod, like a rub, and like took moves from him and let him get his shtick in. The one thing I noticed, and I don't know if you guys noticed this too, but I would have been furious with the production guys because they botched
his turn.
They didn't zoom in. That was the only thing they fucked up on that whole.
I was like, "Where's the zoom in?" Screaming at the screen.
Fucking Sheamus standing in the corner watching, smiling.
He was enjoying it.
Yes, and then when I think it was
Jacob cuts him up and he goes, "Hey, he's enjoying that." He goes, "I was enjoying that. You want to go?" But that was another seed planted because they didn't touch.
Right.
They didn't. They stood at each other. He's like, "You want to go? You want to fight?" And the crowd kind of got receptive. And then next thing you know, the double zeros hit, and here comes Roman. Like it just completely like they couldn't pay attention to it. And then that's another thing, man. We need to give credit to Sheamus because he's been around for a very long time, and he's been very good, very consistent, and very generous. Like Roman eliminated his ass immediately upon entering. Like it was good to say. Listen, I'm one thing I will say of this new pro wrestling is nobody's selfish. Everybody's very willing to put the other guy over.
Well, let me talk to you.
Let's
I don't
get
know.
that a little later.
You're referring to something else. I'm glad because I'm setting this up. It's foreshadowing. I'm setting it up for you boys. But that I said that, and we'll get to that in a second. But what else, Malik? What did you feel about the men's Royal Rumble so far?
I thought it was really good. I kind of felt like right away I was like, number 2 is going to be Penta. How could it not be? I had a feeling Roman Reigns was going to come out in the middle. I thought Cena would have been number 30, which would have which wouldn't have been that big a deal. But
I would be okay with that.
You know, the rumors that Logan Paul is the one who needs to remember certain things. That's the rumor.
Oh wow.
Okay. Certain spots, so on and so forth. But I'm like, it's the Royal Rumble. That's very simple.
The one thing I noticed about Cena was he is a horrible over actor. Like it was bad. Like when he was on the roast, where he was doing this shit with his hands and shit. It's like, oh. I'm like, come on.
I have to ask though. Did Penta get eliminated right at the beginning? Let's be honest.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I could suspend my disbelief to say that one foot touched and the other foot was maybe raised up enough.
Nah, replay that because both feet said.
Okay. And then you watch the replay and you're like, never mind. I can't. Never mind.
They knew not to play that replay because they'd be like, well, he's got to go.
He
cheated.
It was.
I had an argument with my girlfriend while watching the Rumble. I was like, her feet didn't. I was like, technically, Raquel Rodriguez, going back to the Women's Rumble, she landed on her back. I said her feet didn't touch the floor, babe. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I was like, both feet must touch the floor.
That bullshit where you could jump on the table and the stairs and you could stay.
Yes.
It's bullshit. If you're out of the ring, you're out of the ring.
This rule was implemented even more during, I want to say, a battle royal from WWF Superstars where Lawler was hopping around on one foot. And then Bret Hart stepped on one foot and he put one down and he stepped on the other one. They both were down. So that's the reason why we got both feet must hit the floor.
Yeah, I think that's dumb. But even so, to me, the table is the floor. You're out of the ring.
Right.
The table is if you're on the guardrail, you're out of the ring. You're out. That means they're out. I don't want to hear this. Oh, I'm on the stairs. I'm on the stairs.
No. The floor itself is liquid hot magma. Okay? That's what that is. The table is not. The table's a safe place.
Yeah, I just don't like. I don't like.
Can we talk about? I think this is the first time. This is the first time I feel like we've ever had something like this. You had Cena come out, you had Punk come out, and then you had Seth come out,
and they did nothing for the better part of like 3 minutes.
Yeah, until Seth came out.
Everybody just stood around and the crowd went crazy for it. Literally, all you had to do was just play their music, and that was it.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was when I noticed that Cena's such a bad actor. Because he comes out, right, and he's staring in the ring, and he's doing this shit. And then CM Punk's music hits, and I said to Felix, I said, why is Cena acting like a mark? He was like, yeah, look at this, he's coming out too now. I was just like, what's going on? But it was a cool moment. That was the first time I had ever seen something like that, where like one guy comes out, and the next guy comes out, and they're all standing there. And then finally Seth comes out and you're like, oh, this thing's gonna hit.
Well, you knew as soon as you saw Roman and then you saw Cena and then Punk comes out, you're like, all right, well, obviously Seth's coming out next. So
he's coming out next.
This whole thing. And I love the hatred, and this is what's getting really good with Seth, and you see it when the elimination happens. Yeah. This thing of Seth having hatred now for guys. Like he hates Punk. Like as soon as he can, he goes after Punk. And then you said about the camera work when Cody's on top of the table. They almost do the same shot when Roman's standing in the corner and Seth. Yes,
that was a fantastic shot. They did it twice.
Yes,
they did it with and I love this, by the way. Chad Gable dumps Otis, and Otis no-sells the German and gets back up, and they did that same kind of shot where Chad is like this, and all of a sudden you just see Otis stand up behind him, and they're like, "Oh my God!" You know that. The WWE production level has always been amazing, but it's shots like that, like I told you, that stand out in your mind forever. Like that shot over the shoulder, Seth is like looking around. But I think they kind of got that from Ibushi and Ospreay. Remember when he did that thing off the top, and then Ibushi's like looking around, and Ospreay's like standing there staring at him. It was there. Listen, they may steal from time to time, but when they steal, it's like Coke and Pepsi. They make it better. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it's like I feel like when I saw that, I was just like, yo. At some point, and I think it's going to happen now, these two have to have a blow-off, Seth and Roman. Like they have to like finally put this shit to bed. And I think when the whole elimination and then Seth doing the curb stomp twice, I think that's a foreshadowing leading into that. This is going to happen now. They're going to have this blow off.
Okay, so here's my thing. Seth obviously clearly hates Punk.
Yeah.
But in a sense, I feel like he hates Roman more.
Yes.
Why didn't he just swear with Roman when he pulled up in there?
He went right after Punk. Yeah.
He just went right after Punk. Like,
and if you notice when so I guess we'll get into this a little bit later with the Road to WrestleMania. Yeah. Roman is kind of like getting into it with Punk. He's like, we were just partners. Like, why would you eliminate me? And that's when Seth comes out of nowhere. So I don't know if I don't want to see a triple threat with the three of them because it doesn't make sense. No. But this is kind of where I could see some kind of main event thing happening.
I have this sneaky suspicion that Elimination Chamber might be like a triple threat, and the winner fights Cody, and that's when Punk's gonna call in his favor.
See, that's the thing. I feel like the Elimination Chamber match is for whoever gets to face Cody.
Yeah.
So let's say we get qualifying matches in this month, but Cena's already there. Like, guaranteed he's in the chamber.
Oh, he announced it. He said it in the press conference after.
Yes. So now you have to get Roman in a qualifying match. You have to get Seth in a qualifying match. You have to get Punk. What I think they will do is, technically, Cena's not a part of any brand, in a sense.
Yeah.
He's a free agent, if you will. Even though he appears on Raw, not SmackDown, but whatever. You get, maybe 2 guys from SmackDown, 3 guys from Raw, and you just go from there with Cena in the mix in the chamber, and maybe Cena's the one who winds up winning.
I can see that. Yeah.
If he does not win, I do feel like he's going to find a way to shoehorn his way into a WWE Championship match.
It'll happen.
One way or another.
I think at some point. So if you noticed, I don't know if you watched the press conference that he did afterwards. He basically says, he goes, I'm starting to realize what my value is. And Tony, the gimmick you pulled off a long time, you said about him a long time ago, which is basically what the tribal chief became.
Yes.
That's what Cena kind of did the other day. He was like, I've been here long enough that I could just start announcing my shots. Yeah. So I will be in the Elimination Chamber. And he even said, he goes, I'm going to be 17. So I want to be the guy that hands it and gets to 18.
Okay.
So he did it in a way where it was like heelish, but in a way where he's just like, I want the record and I have no problem then handing it off.
Yeah. The one thing to me is was his fucking socks. When he came out,
the socks I can't get because my feet are too damn big.
I could not, Malik. I could not get around it. I was like, "Why is he wearing these like ankle support socks?" Like and then like the orthopedic shoes that he had
on. those aren't the classic pump ups. What are we
I know. What the fuck is he wearing? I was like, "Why is he wearing these like nurse shoes?" I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Listen, he could have been wrestling in Crocs. But that's not happening, so we're good.
That's true too. That's true too.
But Jey Uso wins the Rumble. I loved how he eliminated John Cena. The ending was very well done. I'll give them credit. How it all happened. How Punk eliminates Seth and Roman. How Logan eliminates. Yeah, it's very true. And Logan Paul eliminates Punk.
Am
I the only one who assumes that Logan Paul's going to fight AJ Styles at WrestleMania? The way he eliminated
maybe. I can see
Possibly.
that.
I think that'll be something that goes on. We'll get to that in a second.
If they move AJ to Raw, maybe, unless they bring back inter-promotional brand rivalries again. They haven't done that in forever.
I mean, that'd be cool. I used to like that.
I do. Yeah, I agree.
The inter-promotional match. But now listen, all in all, from what I saw of the Royal Rumble, it was very, very good. It was very good, and I'm excited to see Elimination Chamber going forward. I'm excited for Raw tonight, and I know to me, today is the official Raw. I mean, obviously they say Royal Rumble is the official road to WrestleMania, but I feel like that's the key in the ignition. And as soon as it ends, now you're off on the road. You're off to the races.
Can I say one thing? I want to say one thing. Okay, to these fickle, stupid fans, You complain and you cry. They don't make new stars. Why do we have to have Punk and Roman and Cena and all these old guys? Well, now they've not only made a new star, it's a homegrown guy. And yeah, it took a long time to get there. But Jey Uso right now is a star. And you're complaining that he won the Rumble. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, people on the internet are complaining. It should have been Cena. John Cena doesn't need to win a Royal Rumble.
Greco, these are the same fans who got in their bag and in their feelings about a female ring announcer leaving the job, which was not her dream job. She wanted to be a talent that would possibly be able to manage, maybe even be general manager.
Yeah.
And they said, nah, this is your ceiling. This is what we want you to do. She had other aspirations in her life. And I feel like this, you should be entitled to do as you please. I'm currently sitting here at work where I should not be on a podcast right now, but no. Okay? You find time to do both things.
I don't get it, man.
They find time to complain, man. But I'm happy. Hey, I like Jey Uso. He's over, but he's not main event. Oh, he is, bud. Nico, he is. Trust me.
But see, okay, I'm okay with an opinion.
Yeah.
But if you don't like complain.
Here's the thing: a lot of people probably just can't get around that he's a lifelong tag team guy.
So I know the match with him and Jimmy rubbed people the wrong way because all it was super kicks. It was bad, right? But he's had other matches now with Gunther, with Priest. You know, again with Gunther. Like, he's had other matches that's made me say, "All right, I can watch it. Let's see what happens."
No, he's had some. He's a very good worker. And I said, when I saw Saturday Night's Main Event and I saw him and Gunther go one-on-one for the title, it was the first time I actually paid attention. I knew they fought for the Intercontinental belt and shit like that, but I never really paid attention to that. And I paid attention to this world title match on Saturday Night's Main Event. And I was like, that's a caliber of a WrestleMania match. It was very good.
If we're going to complain about matches like Jimmy versus Jey, not to be funny, listen, I get the story of it and the insanity of the end of it. But Cody versus Roman was pretty much 17 spears, 14 crossroads, a Superman punch, and a drop down uppercut. Like, you know, that's what some of these matches are now. So
okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I slightly disagree, but I see what you're saying. I mean, everybody. I don't know if you're expecting super quality 5-star work rate matches, go to the other channel and pray that you don't fall asleep. Wake up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and watch New Japan. You have choices. You have options. Does it sound like we're just pro WWE guys? No. Overall, we're pro wrestling guys. Right. Like when I say that, like the overall grand scheme of things, we love wrestling.
We proved that the other night after sitting for 2 hours through that.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that a little later in the show. Trust us. We're gonna talk about that watch along.
Sorry, Billy. Go ahead.
It just, you know, when I read that people were actually complaining, I was just like, really? Now, when Batista came 11 years ago and he won, nobody was happy about it. Now, they're like you said, they're fickle. They don't really know what they want. But at the end of the day, as much as you don't know what you want, you're gonna come home or be wherever it is you're at, turn on that Netflix at 8 o'clock to watch the show. Period. You'll still be sitting there complaining. I get it. We all have complaints with things that we don't like, but we can't make it seem like this is the worst thing that's happened, because it's not.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Agreed.
And listen, I have eyeballs and I have ears, and when you watch Jey Uso come out, it is obvious that it's his time. It's obvious. If you don't like the guy, if you don't think he's your bag, if you don't think if he's going to be a good champion, they'll know and they'll take the belt off him quick. He'll have a short-lived championship reign. That's all. Instead of taking it to next year's WrestleMania, he'll take it to SummerSlam. That's usually the barometer. If you can get to SummerSlam and survive SummerSlam, they'll give you a lengthy title reign. If they know that it's not working by SummerSlam, it usually comes off you. I mean, just ask some of the title reigns that we've seen, like Chris Benoit. Everybody made a big deal WrestleMania 20. How he was, I can't believe 18 years, and then by SummerSlam, Randy Orton's taking the belt off him because it just wasn't working.
Most recently, a prime example of what you're saying right now, Damian Priest. He won the title at Mania. He lost to the SummerSlam.
So he lost to SummerSlam, yeah, because it just wasn't working.
And to be fair, Priest, I think, is better now that he's no longer the champion.
Agreed. He got better after losing the title. Agreed.
The belt was weighing on him.
Yes.
It was just like suffocating him. He just was. I don't.
Also,
not to say that he's not good. I just didn't think he's not ready. He wasn't ready for that kind of spotlight.
Also, if you look at the December merch sales, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Jey Uso.
Jey Uso, he's up there, dude. And like I said, the official Road to WrestleMania starts tonight on Raw. So now, let me ask you this, boys. We'll just do some simple predictions going into it. Obviously, we still have Elimination Chamber. We still have a lot of wrestling to get to before we even get to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is on 420. But before we get there, let's talk. What do you think is going to start setting up tonight? Obviously, Jay's going to pick Gunther. We know that. And we know Charlotte Flair is going to pick, obviously, Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. What do you think is going to set up now? Who do you think Seth Rollins is going to start? Is it going to be Roman, or is he going to continue to shit with CM Punk? What do you think?
I hope it's Seth and Roman. Listen, you could have Seth and Roman at Mania, and you could have the build-up as there needs to be a finish to this. And of course, every time they've had something else has been involved.
Yeah, it's got something else gotten away. Yeah.
You know, somebody's gotten away, or like when Seth came back, beat him for the title, and Dean cashes in. Like, you always have something. This needs to just be Seth versus Roman, and that's it.
Do you think any stipulation, or is it just one-on-one?
That's the part I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't think you do like tribal combat, but I think you like last man standing wouldn't shock me.
Something like that I was thinking. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like I don't even want to pin you out. It's personal. Like I want to like hurt you.
And I want to hurt you. Like
to me, it was either last man standing or Hell in the Cell. It was one of the two, because that's usually the ones that they put the exclamation point on is Hell in the Cell. And if anything, it should be, because like you said, everybody always gets involved. It's always something else happening between the two of them. But if you lock them in a cage, now there has to be a fucking winner between the two of us.
Yeah.
You know. Same time says I quit match. It could be that.
Oh, but, yeah, that's I quit match isn't bad either.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But I do agree. I think Roman and Seth go in. I think Punk goes in as champion. I think he wins at Elimination Chamber, or he goes in to fight Cody. I don't think it's Cena. I know everybody wants it to be Cena at WrestleMania. I think Cena is going to happen at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. Yeah, especially in New York.
Yeah, I think so. I think Cena would happen at SummerSlam, and I think it would be Cena. Like maybe Cody, the weight is too much finally at that point. And the one guy's like, Cena's like, listen, kid, I'll take the burden. You know, it's my last time and I'll help you. And then Cody fully goes heel and turns on Cena, which would be funny because the first time everybody would be in unison cheering Cena. Because even at the Royal Rumble, you still hear a couple Cena sucks.
Yeah, yeah. And I think at that point, it's fun just to sing it.
It's like, fun. They don't mean it. You know, but I like I said, this is the first time in a very, very long time, and I can honestly say this, that I'm excited for it all. I was excited for the Rumble. I'm interested to see how Elimination Chamber goes, and I'm excited for WrestleMania as well.
I kind of want for Chamber. I don't want them to do this WrestleMania because they did this already. I know it was post-COVID and it was a different kind of crowd. I really want them to do Owens and Sammy in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, just to hear what kind of reaction that would be.
Yeah, the question is Kevin Owens healthy enough?
Well, yeah, that's yeah.
He took a fucking beat yesterday.
But I think they have time because Elimination Chamber is until the first weekend of March. Or the last weekend of February, whatever it is.
Okay, well.
So he's got a good month to, you know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I also think
tribal rules, it's when he says tribal combat, I guess it's kind of like that. It's like no rules, but like now, whenever you say tribal combat, I'm always going to assume that the Ula Fala is involved. Becomes the tribal chief. So I don't think they should do something like that. It shouldn't be tribal combat.
We saw something going on now with Drew and Priest.
Yeah.
I listen. I agree with me and Malik just said it. We both agree. Priest has been so much better since after winning the title. Since after losing the title.
And I mean, we moved on to the road to WrestleMania. We'll quickly touch on this real quick. The person that was going into business for themselves, if you will, it's obvious it was LA Knight. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but I noticed it 3 times that he got in the way when Roman was trying to get helped up by Cody. He was like trying to kick Roman. And Roman at some point, if you look real closely, Roman goes, get out of here. Like, I have to do this thing with him. And then he was doing like a punch for punch with Jay, with the and the yeet bullshit. And as that was happening, Drew was doing something with Roman and Seth or something like that. Roman and AJ or Seth and AJ, some shit like that. And then at the very end, when Priest goes to eliminate Drew, he's in the way again.
So the only thing I will say about that last one is I don't know if that last one is on LA Knight and Paul because the camera's on them.
But I think the only thing that happened was that was the straw.
Right.
Like at first it was this, then it's this. Now you're in the fucking way. Enough getting your shit over. I think that's probably what happened with Drew, where he's like, you're coming in with this bullshit, and you come and make sure you get the rope to drop the elbow on Cena. Like it just was obvious that he came in. But you can't. Here's the thing: you can't say that because 2 minutes before that, Damian Priest hits the ring and does kicks and all this other shit.
Kicks left and right.
2 minutes before him,
I'm sorry to bring this up real quick, and just to backtrack real quick into the Women's Rumble. In the first 15 entrants, I saw like 17 kip-ups. Remember back in the day, Shawn Michaels was the only guy doing a kip-up.
Yeah. You know, I only saw one. I saw Joe Hendry in the Men's Royal Rumble. That was it.
Yeah.
All the way, kip-up, and that was it.
And that's when he does his pose and everything, which is fun. Yeah. But that was so annoying. Like, back to this whole Drew thing. Yeah, and also I think a lot of it is I would think Drew was pissed. I love this thing that every time something bad happens, Drew storms out of the arena. That's always the report. You know, which I think is complete and utter bullshit. I think Drew is better than that.
I don't know if they're trying to develop like a crybaby gimmick with him.
Maybe
something like that. And they're trying. Like I said, I think like Triple H is a smart guy, and he realizes that like. We have to create a level of reality to this. So storm out.
Yeah.
Curse, yell, get mad because I want people to think that it's real and to think that there's some kind of form of reality here. So, yes, storm out, get mad. Don't talk to nobody. Yeah, we'll tell everybody that you left, you know?
Yeah.
When you walk out of here, walk out of here with an attitude because we want Dave Meltzer to run on Wrestling Observer and tell everybody that this is what's happening because it's legit. He's furious.
Drew's getting released from his contract.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like one of those things. I think Triple H is trying to work the dirt sheets because if you work the dirt sheets, then they start spreading the gimmick without realizing it, and then you go, "Oh, I wonder what's going on," and you turn on Raw thinking that there's this insane animosity, and it's not real. It's not there. But Triple H is working these dummies who are going there at the press conference asking questions. Like I said, my favorite thing was at the end of that press conference when Triple H goes, "All these people say, yeah, I heard it from a guy who heard it from a guy. I guarantee you don't know nothing." Like,
exactly.
It's not what we're going with. So
exactly.
And like I said, that's why I believe in his vision for WrestleMania. I think it's going to be great. I think Cody versus Cena makes no sense, but Cody versus Punk does. That's what that setup was at the on Raw last week, where Punk was like, "Man, are you okay? What's going on?" That
was such a good promo.
It's such a great, just a small seed that he planted. He just planted that seed. And now get ready because come WrestleMania, I have to now take the burden off of you.
Yes.
It's too much. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to call in that favor, whether it's Elimination Chamber or a match at Elimination Chamber to earn the right to fight Cena, which will then cause animosity between Roman and his wise man. Because if you notice, the bloodline is kind of it's done once he got the Ula.
Yeah, Solo wasn't even in the Rumble. That was one of the biggest surprises. Like for the men's Rumble, everything was pretty on par, with the exception of Solo and I guess Randy. But maybe Randy is hurt.
Okay. So here's the thing for me with Solo. Solo not being around just remains based upon him losing the Ula Fala. So the story is still there. Is how I see it being intact.
Yeah.
I figure they're going to run off that, and maybe he'll return, but Jacob Fatu is going to be too powerful to try to control.
Oh, talk about a guy that's over very quickly.
That guy's so over. My wife is a mark for him. Well, his theme song, not him, but like in his theme song hit, she goes, "That's the song right there." Like that, that whole package with him is fantastic.
When he starts doing the shaking and stuff after certain moves,
he's Umaga's kid, right? No.
The Tonga's kid, I believe.
Zillow, I think he's Tongan.
Zilla is
Umaga's kid. Yeah.
All right, I always get them two mixed up. But when he was doing that Umaga shit, when he would slam and then dance out of the corner like Umaga used to do, I got taken back. I was like, yeah. I was like, stop fucking slapping that chest. That's the kind of Samoan shit I love.
Yes.
Like that Wild Islander shit that I do. So that to me. When he walked, I don't know if I said to Felix, I was like, fuck, man, he should have been the tribal chief. I don't know why Solo had it. Like, he's so better on the mic, too. His promos walking to the ring, that's fucking great. I don't know who came up with that idea where they're like, no, you're too, like, unpredictable to be just sitting there on a mic. just cut your promo walking to the ring while you're about to fight somebody.
We're gonna get another monster versus monster match with him and Braun, which is fine. Because one thing I will say about Braun Strowman, when it comes to these matches of pure chaos, Braun Strowman is great in these matches.
But Braun Strowman made me laugh though when he eliminated Jacob Fatu, and he's like, "You almost fucking killed me.
You almost killed me.
You almost fucking killed me." And I was like, Jesus Christ. That was funny. And I said to Felix, I was like, "Yeah, they're fighting at WrestleMania."
Or maybe like a Saturday night main event or something. Because I know there's a couple of those coming up.
Yeah, that's
that's what we're saying about Drew. I don't mind Drew and Priest at like a Saturday night main event or even Elimination Chamber. I think Drew deserves more than a match with Priest at WrestleMania. I think Drew deserves a bigger match.
I do. I agree. Like I said, I was a big guy that never saw it with Drew McIntyre until recently, and I think he has now put in enough. I will always feel bad for him that when he won the belt and then Damian cashed in and he only had it for like 30 seconds. But long-term storytelling. You know what I'm saying? Like he took the belt from him. He eliminated him.
Now twice Priest has ruined his moment.
Yeah. So to me, it's like that's a great story going into WrestleMania. Like I said, it's shit like that. Like Triple H has this ship righted. It is now to me compelling television. It's interesting television. And now let's do another segue, okay? Because on Wednesday, the four of us, because Felix is here in the background.
Felix, okay? And the five of us, you love.
Yeah, my wife tried to sit through it, and she had a couple points. I looked over at her. She was on the computer, whether playing Scrabble or something else. She was not paying attention because it was dog shit.
Okay. I got a lawyer a couple rooms away. She was watching it too. And
we tried to get through. Now, obviously, my topic here says AEW bad. It's a rhetorical question. Yes. It's the worst. I don't understand it. It's the fucking worst. Now, you guys sat there with me, and we all sat there with an open mind and tried to watch it.
Same time Tony's was there too.
Yeah, he was there too. Yeah. What was there anything from this past AEW that you take away and you go, that'll bring me back next Wednesday? At anything. I'll sit here and wait.
Here's what I do with last week's AEW, right? I like this and I go like that.
Yeah. I assume that's what Tony Khan did in the production meeting. I assume that's what he did.
No, that's what he did beforehand.
For real, dude, it's fucking crazy. I don't understand the Death Riders. I don't get their shtick. Like I don't understand. And what's crazy to me is, I've been told this by multiple wrestlers, Malik, and I'm sure you've been told this by multiple wrestlers. The worst reaction you can get is no reaction. Yeah. If you get booed, at least they're doing something. If you're getting nothing, you're not doing the job correctly, and that whole group is not doing their job correctly because when they come out, it is like a pin drop. It's fucking crazy. This crowd is literally telling you the silence is deafening. And the fact that he's not picking up on this and going, listen, we gotta scrap this. This ain't working. The fact that he's just blatantly ignoring this crowd. Like, people used to talk shit about Vince. Oh, he just shoved shit down our throats. But you were reacting to it. You booed Roman. You booed Cena. You gave the reaction to the point where that's why he kept giving it to you, because you were still reacting. This is an indication that it's not working.
Well, Tony, they give reactions like that in the past because they cared.
Yeah, that's true.
An audience going to an AEW show, like I said, I sat there for Grand Slam back in September with my boy, and I felt like I was not on planet Earth anymore. I did not know where I was. I felt like I was abducted, and there were people sitting around praising certain things, and I was just like, no. We're sitting here past midnight. We should already been out of this building. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah. And the fact that this guy comes out in between shows and cuts a promo and no one is like letting him know how they feel. What are they doing when Tony Khan comes out and cuts this promo in between shows? Why aren't people booing this fucking guy and saying this?
Some people are applauding and some people are laughing. I am there laughing.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's so bad, and it's like you said, it's no and it's kind of funny because it's no reaction for Claudio, who that was the problem in WWE. He wasn't getting a reaction. Pac, same thing.
Dude, you know what the funny thing is when Montez Ford comes back and he attacks the DYI or whatever, and he slides out of the ring. He's standing. He's got this chest tattoo now that goes all the way down his arm. I said to Felix, I go, fuck, they need Ricochet for. They already got one.
They better one.
I see why they let him go. Go ahead, go to AW. You suck. We got our own version. We homegrown built this guy, and he's going to be our high flying guy because we can at least market this guy because he can cut a promo.
Right.
You are like nails on a chalkboard. So go to AW and but now here's the thing. I will give him credit because he went heel. He's smart enough to turn that shit heel and kind of let the governor off and try to get creative. That's fine. But WWE probably saw the ceiling. And they were like, you know what? This is really nothing here.
By the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, Tony. There was something I wanted to say before I was rudely interrupted by work. Jey Uso should write off a big check and give some of that money to Montez Ford because it was what the fuck.
But no, I like I said, when I saw Montez attack and I didn't know they were turning heel. I didn't know what was going on with those guys. But when I watched it, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, once they break this team up, that's going to be like...
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I said that, and Malik said a couple of weeks ago when I said that Dawkins is underrated. I agree. I give Dawkins his props. But I said, I remember saying like a year or two ago, if Montez put on about 20 pounds of muscle, which he has now, and got off on his own, like, you see it in this guy. This guy has like a look, and you can tell he's got that heel look.
And not only that, he's got an athletic ability that just cannot be.
Yes, agreed. And
and
if you turn Bianca and you have them as now the power couple, because Bianca's starting to get that stale thing to her that she needs a change soon. So that's coming.
I think a lot of times with baby faces, they get stale because but you want to keep them as baby faces because they showed a video on Royal Rumble where these two kids are walking backstage. And they run into her, and she's like, "Hey," and they hug her. They want those moments, and as a heel, she's not going to get
hard to do those moments.
You're not going to recreate those moments, man. Again, Malik, make your point.
Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by life. Montez Ford had started doing this, and then Jay just came along and started doing it. He stole it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
But with Ricochet, I agree. It's smart that they turn him heel. You know, at least he's getting some kind of reaction. You know, we talk about AEW guys and reactions. You know, I feel like Swerve gets a reaction, but since
does he get a reaction, or does the dance that Prince Nana does?
I feel like the majority of the reaction has been more so because of Nana doing the dance. There are moments where he does get the crowd in the palm of his hand, but I feel like predominantly, if it wasn't for Nana to just start randomly doing that dance, I feel people would care, but not to the extent of where they are right now.
Yeah, I think that Swerve owes this success, a lot of it, to Nana because, listen, we filmed him at House of Glory. When he came out, a lot of people just did this shit. They went nuts for the Nana shit.
Yeah, the Nana stuff.
Like, it's cool that, they like Swerve, whatever. I don't see it with Swerve in terms of like, I just don't see it. I'm sorry. You see it. I'm not going to sit here and fight you, argue with you. It's fine. But like, when he was in AEW before this fucking guy started dancing, you didn't care at all. You didn't give a shit. And now
I think what's also happened with him is he's become like the deathmatch guy now.
That's just dumb, which is dumb. And don't even start on Adam Page. And like we said, we talked about this on Wednesday, the absolute just complete blundering of MJF, the misuse of MJF, and just how he is just not like, it's just the same shtick every week. He says dumb slurs to get a cheap reaction, and it's just not the. And listen, I don't understand how. And I said this: Jeff Jarrett shouldn't have a retirement tour because right. But I mean, to just flat out bury the guy. And that fucking like they just buried him, and it was just like, well, you're supposed to give this guy a beautiful send off. I know you should go out on your back, but it should go out with this beautiful match or some shit like that he loses and he puts somebody else over. I understand that, but Claudio, it makes no fucking sense.
I have a funny one. This is AEW mind thinking. Okay, would it surprise you that going into All In Texas, being in Texas, that the main event, well, not main event, but the title match wouldn't be Jeff Jarrett versus John Moxley for the title in his last match?
And he's supposed to be the last outlaw. Like, it just makes that's what I'm saying. But sense eludes these people. They don't understand it. They're like, I don't want to do that. I want Will Ospreay to team up with Kenny Omega, and I want him to find these two guys from Don Callis thing. It's like I just want to know. I want to be a fly on the fucking wall when they do their pre-production meetings or when they do their writing staff meetings, and to see what the fuck, who's pitching these things, or is it all Tony Khan? I want to know.
I think it's mostly Tony Khan.
Because this is fucking crazy. Like, I mean, this is how bad it is. Every channel, every podcast that reports wrestling, even if it's a fucking like hole in the wall mark, right? They're all saying the same thing. Steven Richards, fucking Jim Cornette, everybody who reports a little bit of AEW says the same fucking thing. It makes no sense. They need either leadership or they need a better writing staff. But so why do you blatantly ignore it? It'd be one thing if it was just a few marks or just like maybe one podcast, but it's everyone.
Bully Ray has openly said, "Give me the book.
Yeah,
you don't have to overpay me, and I will answer to you. I will let you have the final say. Give me the book just to try to figure this out for you, because I don't think people want it to fail. Like, we want an alternative. We want another thing to watch." It's just there's no one to get behind. I think the one guy they have left that they still could possibly, hopefully, if you realize what you have with Ospreay.
Yeah.
You know?
But here's the thing too. They had some homegrown talent that you were interested in. They had Hobbs, they had Wardlow, they had quite a few guys that you were like, all right, let's see how they develop these guys. But they didn't do it. And hey, Woody, what's up, bud? I didn't think maybe fucking he's a simp because he put the rocket ship on Jade Cargill. Then he invested all this money in stupid Mercedes money, right? And now it's like
money.
yeah. It makes no fucking sense. Like, you had all this other talent that you neglected because you're fucking over here with these dummies, and now your company's in shambles, and you're sitting here scratching your head wondering why. It's because you're a fucking. Hold on, I got a soundbite for this.
You fucking mark!
One of the things that has hurt that company the most will be injuries. Another thing that's hurt the company would be mixing up in between, Rampage, Dynamite, Collision, and ROH. ROH needs to be something that you just say, all right, we have the footage. We could put this on Max possibly. Not the show. I'm saying like the footage that you already have from 20-something years ago.
Yeah,
you could air that because I don't think anybody wants to see ROH of today.
No, it's bad. It's real bad. I would put all the library.
I saw that card for Final Battle, and I was like, "What is this?"
But if you
the last ROH show that I ordered was the one was basically Jay Briscoe's last match. That's it.
Okay. If you put up ROH from the old days, you're getting all WWE guys. A lot of people are gonna go watch it. You got CM Punk, Seth Rollins, fucking so many guys that are in WWE or that are now like main guys all over. Like they all were there at that point. Sami Zayn is fucking El Generico, Kevin Steen. Like, so like that would be smart because then people would come to your fucking streaming service to watch the guys before they became the guys.
At the same time, the wrong company probably has that footage.
Yeah. Just like I always go back to this when Punk cried at the press conference and he's like, "Oh, I'm happy he has my footage and it'll be taken care of." And now it's like no one's ever going to see it.
Yeah,
he's not going to put it anywhere.
He's not going to put it on.
Moron.
Because you pitched them out.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how you fix AEW right now. There's no fixing. Like, there's no simple like, all right, just do this and this is what could work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so hello, Menjoza. I'm sorry. Yes. I don't know. And I know AEW is in, like, do you see it closing up shop at any point? That's an honest question.
To be honest, people were sitting around going, they need to get rid of TNA. TNA is going to go down, close, and blah, blah, blah. TNA is still thriving.
Speaking
of with the exception of the Hogan Bischoff, like, couple-year run there, TNA has done something that is better than anyone else. They stayed in their lane.
Yeah.
We're not going to be WWE. We're not going to beat WWE. We're just going to do our own thing.
I think when Scott D'Amore took over and he started to sit right in that pocket and figure out what the identity of TNA was, that's when you kind of like, you know what? I don't. I've had good moments watching TNA. Like, if you tell me to think of some good moments, I can tell you way back when. Like, even like to when Alex Skipper did that thing off the cage. America's Most Wanted. And you saw spots like that that were very new and fresh at the time. And you were like, oh, shit. And they came up with some interesting concept matches, the King of the Mountain match, the Full Metal Mayhem match. Like, they had some interesting. Ultimate X is one of their, their crown jewel things. They have moments where you can actually stand out. And like, I was always a big Abyss fan. I loved Abyss. AJ Styles was a homegrown guy from there. So it's like they have a resume where they just, like you said, they stayed consistent. They didn't try to compete. They just wanted to be an alternative. Whereas I think Tony Khan doesn't want to compete. He just wants to be an alternative. But the thing is, this is like if you just gave a blank check to a wrestling mark and was like, here, what do you want to do? And he created a wrestling promotion. And he just brought all his favorite people in. And it's just in his head. He's like, oh, I want to see this. I've never seen this before. And that's what it is, where TNA had Jeff Jarrett in charge. They had like a committee of people who were good wrestling minds to at least try to right the ship. And when it wasn't being righted, they brought somebody in to try to fix it. When Tony Khan's not doing that. The ship is just
that's just it, though. They've used wrestling minds for the wrestling business.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony Khan is just, a wrestling fan that's running a wrestling company.
That's it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What it is.
You gave this fan a blank check. His daddy was like, here you go, son. What do you want? Like, it's like a pretty pony. I want a pony. And he buy him a horse, and you never ride the fucking thing because you don't know how to ride a horse. You never learned it, right? So now the horse is just sitting in the stable, and you go over and you brush it. And you go, hi, pretty, right? That's what AW is to him. It's his pony. He always wanted to be a wrestling guy. He finally got his wrestling company, and he has no fucking idea what to do and he's not bringing in the right people to help him right the ship.
And like guys are saying names at the bottom in TNA, like somebody just said Samoa Joe. Like I didn't know about Joe. I didn't start watching ROH until like 07, 08. I was watching TNA in like 03, 04. So I knew about TNA Samoa Joe, and I was like, holy shit, this guy is awesome.
Dude, like when I saw Samoa Joe, I was like, all right, I didn't like the name Samoa Joe, just to call myself Italian Tony. But like I just was like, I mean, it's a ridiculous name. But again, there's a guy in WWE by the name of Triple H. It's not even the 3 H's. It's Triple H. They still can't get over it. But that's another one. You know who another one was? And I always used to love this guy was Chris Daniels. Yeah. They had such great talent. That X Division was very like new. It was the first of its kind. It was
the other night. Chris Sabin did the hesitation drop kick in the corner. And he could still get up there, but I remember watching him back doing that in like 04, 05 with Petey Williams and stuff, and being like, "Wow! Like look at the hang time this guy gets in the air." Like it was an alternative, and you had your X Division, which was basically your cruiserweights, but you would throw in a guy like Joe or whoever else here and there just to make it more interesting. You had the tag team when they brought in the women stuff. Like you had good women's wrestlers,
but that was the thing. They always did it with the intent to take it seriously.
Right.
Like we're not bringing in this bullshit just to kind of,
Right. And then what they do, they brought in Kurt Angle. Like they brought in a good Kurt Angle. They brought early on they brought in Nash and Hall, and that's when they were still getting established. But once they established, you had Kurt Angle, you had Christian. Christian was a great Daniels and Styles, yes.
Chris Daniels, dude, that feud with the three when they did the Ultimate X. Remember? I forgot who the other person was. It was Daniels, AJ. And was it Sabin? It was one of those.
It was Petey, Sabin, and AJ.
Okay, it was
all. And then the other triple threat, the triple threat match was Daniels, Joe, and AJ.
Was that the one? What's
that
the one?
Main evented the first. That was the first time it was like a non like.
It was what was the one where AJ's hanging and they drop kick him and he does that?
That's Petey Williams and Chris Sabin with AJ.
I guess there was moments in TNA where I remembered, like I remember those moments, and I'm like. See, that was cool. That was interesting. Where TNA was like, it's never going to be WWE, but, just to watch something else, I'm okay with it. And AEW, when it first came around in 2019, I thought was going to be like that, where it wasn't going to compete, but it was going to be that healthy alternative that you can just kind of turn on.
It's going to be fun.
I'll watch this. But NXT right now, working with TNA, Joe Hendry coming out at the Rumble. Jordan Grace now is officially signed with WWE. I assume that at some point they're going to take Josh Alexander off TNA's hands. I think that would be a good signing for TNA, for WWE.
Cora Jade is going to be getting a title shot at the TNA's title.
I'm saying this is a brilliant move. A lot of people don't understand, or a lot of people think that WWE
Fraxium is going to be going against the Nemeth brothers, Dolph and his brother.
There you go.
Which is pretty cool. I'm upset that match is on Impact because I wouldn't mind seeing that in NXT. But that's smart because now Dolph will get cheered at NXT. You don't want your big faces getting booed.
Yeah. So I'm happy to see that deal. WWE is very smart. They're willing to work with companies instead of like Vince he just wanted to bury it. But I have this sneaky suspicion that Triple H, he needs a little bit of competition in his mind, because that's how it makes great content or great TV. And I think he's just kind of using AEW as
TNA.
No, AEW. Like he's
okay.
You'll notice like he ran a Saturday Night's Main Event
yeah.
It's like shit like that where it's like, they do shit where it's like you'll see something done on AEW and then a couple weeks later you'll see it done correctly on WWE. So I think sometimes he's watching, he's like, we'll show them how to do this correctly on Raw. And they like take something that you saw in AEW that was complete bullshit and dumb, and it's done correctly on WWE, and you're like, well, when it's done right,
you
can see it actually works. It's like one of those things. I feel like Triple H is like, hey, dummy, when it's done right, I'll show you that it works. You're doing it wrong because you're
doing it wrong. Yeah.
But that's because think of this. It's a perfect example. AEW had to deal with TNA first. And they botched that big time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they fucked out. They had no idea what they were doing. WWE has had this deal shortly. And now, Joe Hendry, the champion, shows up at the Royal Rumble. And not only that, beats up a couple of top WWE guys and has a moment with Roman Reigns, the guy. So to me, it's like, that's how it's done.
Right. And if you look at like last year, Jordan Grace came into the Rumble and she was in it for a while. She was in it for 20 minutes. Like they didn't just bury her. Like people were like, oh well, Henry came in and he got eliminated 3 minutes later. He got eliminated by Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, and it was a great 3 minutes.
Yes.
Even to the point where did the production team botch it, but they gave him that way he was going to turn and do his thing. They gave him the stage. So don't tell me they buried him.
Yeah, agreed.
He had a certain amount of time because it's the Rumble, and he was able to get all his stuff in and put over the champion of TNA. You want to see this guy? This guy's very entertaining. He was over with the crowd. Go check him out on TNA. That's literally what I saw when he came out.
Agreed.
And I thought he did a fantastic job.
Agreed.
Before we go we're going to go to this next topic real quick. And obviously you guys saw what happened last week with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. They come out at this town hall. And they basically tell Triple H, it's been long overdue. It's time for you as the game Triple H, as the cerebral assassin, as the King of Kings to go into the Hall of Fame as a solo act. He went in with DX, with Shawn and the rest of DX. But I think last week or whatever, it was maybe in the AW, we were talking about we don't know what the Hall of Fame class is this year. And we didn't know who's going to headline it. And I don't see anybody better than Triple H. What say you boys?
Triple H is the best candidate for this. I feel like these days trying to figure out who's going to be the Hall of Fame is difficult already as is, because either guys are already in it or part of another company or claiming that they don't care about a Hall of Fame because it's not real. Just all these things that are turned out about
when you're overrated, those kinds of things happen. Okay,
I'm not going back to the argument. That was episode 1, baby. That was episode 1. You.
Make your point. I'm sorry.
But no. I get what you're saying. My thing is, Triple H definitely deserves his solo time to be inducted into Hall of Fame. Is he expected to be the main event one, like the actual main event one of the year? I say yes. Like, I felt Heyman should have been the last person that you saw last year, but it wasn't. Weird.
Who headlined last year?
Like, to me, Heyman was the main one, but I think like it ended with them inducting somebody from The Rock's family. So I was just like, I think it was like his grandmother, I believe, or something.
Yeah, it was his mom.
So you're just like,
actually, Heyman started it last year.
Yeah, he opened it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what I will say with that is, since they do it after SmackDown, I think they just don't want people there for 5 hours.
Yeah,
it's already a long week.
Yeah,
because
So
they're doing everything in Vegas. They're doing SmackDown, the Hall of Fame, Night One of WrestleMania. NXT will probably be Sunday afternoon, if not Saturday afternoon. Night Two of Mania, Raw. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
I just want to say this. I probably, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Somebody asked me yesterday or 2 days ago on a stream, do you really think Shawn Michaels is the greatest of all time? Because some people tend to always put him on the highest. He's number one on everybody's list, right? And I said to the guy, I was like, comparative in the ring, Shawn was able to work anybody. That's why everybody always considers Shawn the greatest. His ability to just seamlessly work whatever. I said, but a lot of people don't give Triple H his credit. Triple H to me was the first ring general. He was the first guy that you could watch in the ring, listening to the crowd, and would dictate how that match would go based off what the fucking crowd was telling him. That to me is a mark of a great. The fact that you can hear like Hogan did with The Rock at WrestleMania 18. You heard, you're like, yo, man, they ain't gonna work. We got an audible. It's shit like that. And Triple H to me was able to do that better than anybody else. Like, I've never seen it done to the level that Triple H has done it. And Triple H too, a lot of people say, oh, he buries people, he was a politicker. Yes and no. Because when you get that top spot, they all become that guy. They all become the one that want to keep that spot. But the fact that he has put over so many fucking people. Triple H has a lot. You go back, you see Triple H put over a lot of people. Triple H has, like I said, taken guys that you just never expected and had great work, whether it was just a single match or a full-on program. He made me care about Eugene. Yeah, he made me care about Eugene. Like, I mean, come on, dude. Like, there was this things that he did where he earned his spot not only in the Hall of Fame, but in my personal opinion, and at least in my Rushmore, he's on there. Triple H is on there as one of the guys for me. It's Shawn, it's Brett, it's Taker, and it's him. I love Macho Man. I said this to them when they were like, you don't love Macho Man? I think Macho Man was great. Macho Man was great, and he was ahead of his time because in the 80s, he was doing the elbow drop off the top rope. Nobody was going to the top rope. But his bumps weren't, if you watch Macho Man bump, they're not really that great.
Yeah.
His promos, they circle, as we all know. They make no sense. We all always laugh about Macho Man's promos. There's never something there that sticks out in your head. Where with Triple H had some meaningful promos as well. Like, it's just shit like that. So I love Macho Man, and he will always be one of my favorite characters. But in terms of, like, you tell me Mount Rushmore wrestlers, Triple H deserves to be on most people's, if not everybody's. But I'm not, like, obviously it's opinion based. But to me, Triple H, he is a fucking bona fide great.
Yeah.
Like,
I couldn't agree more. And to me, like, you could have like your own personal Mount Rushmore, which everybody's is going to be different. And then you have to look at big picture things, and you just gave great reasons why he would be on the main one. To me, Cena is the greatest of all time.
Best water spitter of all time.
That's pretty good same time.
That's right.
But I mean, if you look at, like, Triple H was a guy that never left.
No.
Like you said, he could politic all you want, but name one person that wouldn't have been the exact same way.
But I said this to the guy that brought up Shawn Michaels. I said, sometimes great talent overrides bad behavior. And there was nobody who was worse than Shawn Michaels. Like, he would complain. That was watching something about The Undertaker. Undertaker said he used to love working with Shawn.
Yep, I saw that.
He would send Shawn to Vince. Because he knew Shawn would break Vince down because Shawn was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, he said Shawn had the best batting average.
Yeah, he just said, go ahead, do it. You want us to, go ahead, you talk to him because I'm not going to try and convince him. So it's like, everybody had that. So the problem was Triple H married Stephanie. They thought it was like nepotism. Oh, it's a son-in-law, it's a son-in-law. No, for years, Triple H got overlooked because of that bullshit. Yep. But he was always good. He was always consistently good. That's the thing I'm saying, man. You may say whatever the fuck you want about politics. He married the boss's daughter, but there is no guy. And this, they used to say this back then. Undertaker did his first documentary. If I was starting a wrestling promotion today, Triple H would be the first guy because of his wrestling mind, and it's shown today when he went as the guy who runs this shit how good it is to watch. He has a mind for this shit that I've never seen anybody else have.
What's wild for me is that all the complaints about Triple H this and Triple H that over the years, yet he's the guy who was trying to learn everything behind the scenes, put him in the spot that he who should now not be named, Vince, put him in that spot so he could learn and be able to be the one to hold down the ship, which he's doing today. He's been doing a great job of it for almost 2 years now. So it's just like, hush and just continue to watch the show. See what happens from there.
Shane brings up this comment. Sean had the balls to say sunny days, but it's not balls.
Yeah.
Sean was a fucking pussy. He was a bitch. He was a troublemaker, and he was deliberately trying to start trouble in the locker room with Brett. Like, it wasn't like, I'm going to use this as fuel. You know, like, Brett told him not to say shit like that, and he went out and said it. It's a fucking dick move. Sean's a dickhead. He's a dickhead, especially back then. PK Shawn Michaels.
PK Shawn.
We refer to him all the time. Basically, Shawn Michaels might be the best performer of all time, but he was a bona fide piece of shit. He was a piece of garbage. He'll tell you that, you know? So, like, when he says shit like that, that's fucked up. He shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? Triple H doesn't do shit like that. Like, and I said this to Felix yesterday, like, you know, we joke around and we talk about how, like, I always joke around and say Triple H was the one who leaked the info about Vince. Because there's a part of me that sometimes believes it because it's probably Vince. Because there was wasn't there like a rift between Stephanie and Triple H's marriage? I have
that and just a rift between Stephanie and Vince. They said that's why she left the company.
I have this sneaky suspicion that Triple H was trying to tell his wife, like, yo, man, he has to get out of the way. He's in the way at this point. And Vince
is gone, and look who's showing up on TV all the time now.
That's what I'm saying. And she's like, fuck this. He's not listening. They probably knew about all the bullshit that was going on, all that disgusting stuff that he was doing. And she's like, I don't want no part of this because you're getting sloppy. And eventually it's going to come out and everybody's going to know. And that's when Triple H was like, yo, man, we should just fucking leak this, speed this process along so we can finally take this shit over and do what we're supposed to do because he just keeps getting in the way. And he did. He was getting in the way a lot, Vince. And and we all agreed that the only way he was going to get taken out of that spot was something like this had to happen. And it happened. Sean couldn't hold Brett's job.
Oh, same time I disagree, friend.
That's not
you know something? Maybe one day we will have a small debate over the Brett and Sean thing. You know.
There's not much of a debate. I mean,
no, that's bullshit.
That being said, on its own, is debatable.
Listen. I will sit here and I will blow the jock off of Shawn Michaels. But I will say that Brett's incredible. Like to sit here, anyone that says like Bret Hart wasn't good is a moron.
And dude, Greco, I say this all the time now. If I was Vince in 1997, I would have let Shawn go to WCW.
Yeah, you said that a couple.
Shawn would have sank that ship in 3 months. He would have sank that ship in 3 months. He would have come crawling back to Vince, please hire me. Or he would have, and I hate to say it like this, a tragedy. Because he would have been hanging out with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash too much, and who knows what would have happened at that point. Yeah. So, like, I'm happy he stayed, but I would have let him go in 97.
And, you know, it's funny how you say that about, especially like 97, 96, 97. I was talking about the Hall of Fame. Sid's not in the Hall of Fame yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
You know, it sucks because especially he just passed away. I've gone back and watched so much Sid stuff. You want to talk about maybe the most underrated guy that just like something just like his softball life definitely.
That was it. Did like that leaving to go play softball.
And as a softball, you know, genius of myself.
His promos were like ridiculous. You know, it was just stuff like that. But he was to me one of the best big men that were in the business at the time, too, especially at the time.
And if you really think, and I know people getting a little tired of the run by then, but in 1992, he was cheered over Hulk Hogan.
He was.
Let that sink in. Like, people wanted Sid more than they wanted Hulk Hogan. Yeah. And then in 96, The Garden.
Dude, they loved Sid. When Sid beat Shawn, that place popped. That place went bananas, dude. And then the next night on Raw, he came out with the belt. They went bananas, dude.
Yeah.
The thing with Sid was, like, it was just his promos. I believe that it was just like that we can't take this guy seriously. He's a fucking, you know, the master and the ruler of the world shit.
So good.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's hilarious, but like I just think it was shit like that. They were just like, this ain't gonna work.
I get it, but I think if they're gonna, you know, every year we do a deceased person in the Hall of Fame.
It's him.
I think it should be Sid this year.
Yeah, and listen, one of the shittiest main events at WrestleMania, him versus Undertaker, and I love. Yeah. You know, it was shit like that. Like they put the belt on him, couldn't really give him a run because I think he was just a placeholder because of the drama between Brett and Shawn. All that bullshit. And they're like, what the fuck? And they just put the belt on Sid. And at that point in 97, because it was supposed to be this big rematch between Shawn and Brett, and because all this bullshit all this happened, I think Vince had his hands tied and was just like, you know what? Taker is here all the fucking time. Doesn't say a goddamn word. I'm going to put the belt on him because he deserves it. And then the only reason you could tell that was like a thrown together thing in 97 was because Brett wins at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, yeah. And the next pay-per-view.
Exactly. You knew that.
Or 2 pay-per-views later, whatever it was.
Yeah, you knew it was meant for Brett. It was meant for him. You know, so it was one of those things where you could just tell it was thrown together. You feel bad for Sid because he didn't have a proper run with the belt. I mean, he had what he had through Survivor Series. Then he lost it.
No. He lost it at January.
Then he wins it back.
Then he wins it back in, I think, February.
February at Final Four or some shit like that.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, no, Brett wins Final Four and then lose it the next day to Sid.
And lose it the next day to Sid. And you're right. And then they have the cage match and everything.
Yeah, it was just a whole fucked up. It was just all fucked up because of what was going on with Brett and Shawn. So I feel, Sid was like the unfortunate bystander in that whole situation. But listen, I love Psycho Sid. He used to make me laugh every time he came out when he would laugh and then just stop. And
him and I want to say that I don't remember if it was SummerSlam or the pay-per-view before it. Him and Bulldog have a match, and Sid does a nip, and Sid does a nip up. And it's a really good match. I was like, holy, like the Bulldog's another guy that's very underrated.
You want to talk underrated? You want to talk underrated? Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah.
Underrated. Guy, I always say this, should have won at Beware Dog and lost it at King of the Ring.
Agreed.
Should have gave him a small run with the belt just because I felt like Davey Boy Smith deserved that. At least that little bit of respect.
You think they go with a guy like Luger this year since he's doing so much better?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's going to DDP now. He's doing yoga, so he's trying to like get out of the wheelchair and shit. I think he deserves it. He holds his place in wrestling history. I mean, big part of the NWO stuff in WCW. The big thing when Nitro first debuted and he showed up. So he has like moments in wrestling where it's worthy of a Hall of Fame induction. Will they do it this year? That's the thing. A lot of us, I mean, you were talking about it, is they're running out of names.
Yeah.
They're running out of like the top names. So I would do just one a year now and just kind of like fill it out with some like.
Well, I think they're going to stick to it's going to be the headliner, the secondary guy, the tag team, the female, and then the warrior or the deceased person.
Guy, yeah. Oh, see, so same time just says Davey Boy Smith was my favorite. That's what I'm saying, dude. He was fucking great. He was a great. Lex will walk to the table and stand there, but next year, that's what I'm thinking. Like he's starting DDP yoga, and I'm saying if he has like the ability to walk, like if DDP can get him to walk, that'll be something.
Especially the moment would be somebody wheeling him out and then he gets standing up and walking.
He gets up, the crowd, and an ovation for him, dude. And that's the thing. One guy who turned his life around was Lex, because Lex was bad with drugs.
Yeah.
So to see at least, I mean, listen, he was unfortunately reduced to a wheelchair.
Right.
But he turned it around. He could have went down a depression road and really.
Lex is another guy, man. I know people like wasn't a good promo, wasn't really great in the ring either.
No,
but
man.
Something about him, especially that 96, 97 run in WCW, when he started hoisting people up for that torture rack, the pop.
Dude, when he gets Hogan
up. Yes.
When he gets Hogan up and he starts racking Hogan, that place went bananas.
Yes, him when he beats Big Show, who's the Giant. I think that's like the first loss for NWO at Starrcade that year. Like there was so many. Like, he's a guy that they can really like do stuff with.
All right, baby, can you put up the breaking news thing? Malik just messaged us in our group chat. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen: Charlotte Flair just divorced Andrade.
Really?
Yeah, that's Malik is sending us to that. Babe, I love this little breaking news thing. Yeah, that's producer in the game right now. But yeah, Andrade divorce, Charlotte Flair. The other way around, probably Charlotte divorces. She probably like this. I'm a Royal Rumble winner now. You're nothing more than a mid card.
No, so it's broke that they're actually divorced. So I don't know. I think it's been in the works and now.
Well, now that might lead me to believe that she might be on Raw because they're going to keep him on SmackDown.
Or they're going to move him. Well, yeah, because Zelina would just went to SmackDown. Yeah,
I'm saying, huh? I don't think so. No. I don't think if Felix suggested that they got married so he can get his papers.
I mean, how long have they been married?
It's true. Like 2 years or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
statute of limitations or whatever.
I know a good immigration attorney. I'll go ask her some questions.
There could be some validity to that story, Felix.
I promise by next week's show I'll get all the answers we need.
We'll get all the answers for you, but we'll be all right on that. Investigatory journalism here.
We got a little of everything on this show, folks.
You never know. We just broke some news.
Okay, so apparently they were married in a wedding in Mexico in 2022.
Oh, so okay. 3 years. That could be. That could be.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Welcome to America, Andrade. It's good to have you. It's American
Good to have you.
On that note, boys and girls, yeah, it's time for us to wrap up this show. Catch this every Monday morning, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on your dial. I don't know when the next watch along is. Malik suggested NXT tomorrow, but I don't know.
We'll see about that.
I'm thinking maybe Elimination Chamber is the one I'd like to do.
I know I can't do Elimination Chamber, but I could chime in with you guys via text.
Just chime in. Yeah, so I might be Elimination Chamber. Malik, I assume you're watching because you're dropping breaking news for us. Malik will say goodbye. He had to leave because big ups to him for joining us from his job. So he was work. He got called into work and he joined us from his job. So I appreciate that, man. I am thinking about bringing another live show on this channel. It'd be me just checking out the news feed, going on like wrestling websites. I did it last week with Tony's Takes, kind of like a dry run between with my wife. She kind of brought up the stuff while I was talking about it, and I liked how it kind of went. So we might do that shit live on Tuesdays, and then I'll still do Tony's Topics on Thursday. It'll just be one topic. But we're coming at you with a lot of shit. Cheyenne still has his interview program, the schedule, the following conversation is scheduled for. I always mix that up. With Cheyenne Ortiz, and we have Newburgh Underground Wrestling as an exclusive wrestling company that we air on False Finish. So there's a bunch of shit you can watch on this channel. If you haven't liked and subscribed already, please do. I want to thank Jeff for the very first super chat on False Finish. That was unexpected. Thank you very much. I didn't expect that. Fuck you, Matt. Right?
I'm guessing that's something we're going to talk about off the air.
No, I'm just kidding. I love Matt. But anyway, this has been Spot Monkey Radio on behalf of Malik, Greco, myself. Until next week, enjoy the wrestling and let's keep some kayfabe, boys and girls. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.